everyone, it's Professor Hall, and this tutorial covers how to write an outline that deals with a theory that explains why something happened. You can go to the Examples tab and look up the essay, Building What, and see that this outline follows the essay that was written by a student. I've done a really good job of following the directions of the tutorial for how to create an outline in Word, and I did that by doing like she said and placing the outline here. Then I wrote out my thesis statement, and then I went up here as she instructed and did the define multi-level list, and I filled that out as she described. And so now I've been ready to go. Okay, so this is the thesis statement of two theories presented to explain the collapse of World Trade Center Building 7 on 9/11/2001, insurance fraud and building weakness. The most likely explanation is the insurance fraud committed by Larry A. Silverstein. Okay, so that's the thesis statement for that. That tells the reader that this essay will be talking about an event that happened and two explanations for why that event might have happened. Now, I could get excited and write three different possibilities, but for this essay, for this class, I need to make sure that I thoroughly cover two. If you get excited and want to do three, you can, but two will suffice to give one theory and another theory and then decide which one is the most likely, in my opinion, which is what makes this as a position paper. Okay, so I have the template shown. I need to give all the information about what happened in short sentences. I'm going to go into detail in that in this definition section, which is going to include several different paragraphs. But this introduction needs to give a sentence about this, a sentence about where, and a detail about the event, using a quote from a source. Then theories about the event that I'm going to be covering. And again, these are sentences. This is not long paragraphs, because the introduction is one paragraph that contains key sentences that explain what the essay is going to cover. Now, my thesis statement, which you saw above, goes here. Then I talk in a couple of sentences. I describe my research strategy, that I consulted news media, that I talked with professors or professionals or whatever I did. And now I have a transition to the definition section of the essay. And transition sentences are something that's a prerequisite skill. Go ahead and review those if you're still a little confused about what a transition sentence is. Now this is the definition section. And the definition section is going to be fairly long, because I need to pretend the reader doesn't know anything about this. Maybe this reader was born in 2007, doesn't know about what happened. So I need to start from that position, and I don't want any fallacy in my logic. So this is where it happened, this is when, and so forth. And I'm going to select images that will go into these sections to show whatever I need to show. Then I transition to this first theory, which I already mentioned in my thesis statement. So we're going to be learning in this first section about insurance fraud, just as I put that here. So this section goes over the insurance fraud, and I didn't detail this out, but of course this is going to be a long part of the outline, because I need to actually research and fill in this insurance fraud theory. So now, if insurance fraud was the next section right after the definition phase, what is the section after that? You're right, the theory of building weaknesses. That's right, great, you're brilliant. Okay, so this is that part of the essay, that theory. And it's going to be details, and there's going to be an image selection, because there were undoubtedly in that theory, anytime there's structure, there's going to be a chart or a graph or something that's going to try to explain where the structural weaknesses were or whatever that detail is. Just make sure that you do not have a gap in the logic whenever you explore that. Now you've explored two different theories. And the next section I like to always include is, what do the professionals think about these two? Now, I like to talk to people on the phone. I like to get them on the phone. I like the challenge. But at least I'm going to have an article written by an expert, one or two articles to reference in this section. And there could be YouTube interviews from professionals who expose theories about how they think this or that happened. Then this is the section here that makes this into an argument essay, because now I am going to take a position. I've unveiled all of these ideas that others and professionals have weighed in on, and now I take my position. And that's what makes this move from a research paper to a position or argument essay. Got it? I know you do. You're brilliant. Okay. Then after I say my theory, then I'm going to have a few professionals back me up, have my back, and agree with me. Then I'm going to be ready for my conclusion. Now, if all you write is conclusion, you will be deducted grades. And when people do not outline the conclusion, that is where I find the most problems in the essay. It's difficult to write a conclusion. It's really challenging. If you outline it, it's a breeze. So I saved some of the facts when I researched, and I saved them particularly for my conclusion so I wouldn't come up with this problem of how to end this essay. Now I show the event occurred and when it occurred, and I indicate that fact. And then I indicate that there were a number of reasons and possible theories for why that happened. And I put those down. And then, of all those excuses, I focused on the two that seem to be the most widely accepted possibilities, 3 if you get excited. And I include a powerful quote that points to one theory, the one I agree with. I tend to favor this explanation and propose that the following action be taken to move that theory forward as the most likely reason for the event, or whatever it is that I'd like to say that's my powerhouse statement in my own first-person words about what I've invested in this essay and what theory I think is the most likely and what would then be the result for that. And now I'm ready for a concluding statement. And I'm going to say either something profound, or I'm going to find a quote from a philosopher or a quote from somebody that is equally profound. And that, once it's all filled out, will be my beautiful outline for a theory position paper essay.